views and opinions
and otherwise wisecrack remarks
in this podcast
are solely those
of our highly caffeinated hosts.
They do not represent the opinions
of Fairchild Air Force Base leadership,
the 92nd Public Affairs Office,
or the United States Air Force.
Any reference to commercial products, companies, or services does not imply federal endorsement.
You've been warned. Welcome to the Boom! Fairchild's weekly podcast, talking about the latest Air Force headlines and Fairchild news, as well as whatever comes to mind. And now, coming to you downloaded and digitized, your host, I'm Staff Sergeant D.J. Ayres, and my co-host,
Tech Sergeant Brian Bender. So this is our origin episode.
I want to be Wolverine.
I'll be Spider-Man. So, yeah, our podcast. What's a podcast, Ayres?
Well, it's basically radio without a radio. I mean, because you can listen to it anywhere. Basically, it's geared towards those who like to get their music digitally. Not just music, what am I saying? They like to get their radio, something entertaining that they can throw on their iPod or their iPhone or their Android device or whatever, or just listen to from your computer.
And that's what the key word is, entertaining. We're going to try to be informative yet entertaining at the same time. Like we said, we've got Air Force headline news. We've got some stuff we're going to talk about Fairchild. And here's the thing. Some of what we might say, you may not agree with, and that's okay. Just because you're offended doesn't mean you're right. But at the same time, we're going to want to hear from you. We're going to talk about some topics that may be, I don't know, sensitive's the word, but, everyone's going to have their own opinions. And that being the case, what we say is our opinion. It's Ayres' opinion. It's my opinion. It's not the opinion of the base leadership. It's not the opinion of the Air Force. And it's certainly not the opinion of anyone else in the Public Affairs Office, which is where we're coming to you from, although it's more of like a crammed little closet, and it's getting kind of hot in here already.
We're in the new headquarters building, if you didn't figure that out. And
the brick house.
The brick house. This is not the White House anymore. I like the White House. It was old, it was musty, it was very World War II-ish.
It had character.
It was bigger. But now there's rules and regulations on how big your headquarters can be. So we're pretty much editing from a closet. And maybe someday we'll do a live video podcast from here so you can see kind of what we're working with.
And you can sympathize. Oh, those poor guys.
Poor guys. It'd be like the guys in the flight line in the cold and the heat. We're like, no, those guys got it easy. Back to our origins story.
How long you been in Ayres?
I've been in a little over 10 years. This is my fourth duty assignment. I've been to Ramstein Air Base was my first. Before we get started, I went to tech school at Fort Meade, an Army base. And if any of you guys went to tech school and Army base, you know that Air Force, well, we're Air Force, and we joined it for a reason. We got actually paid an extra like $10 in our check because we had to live in substandard housing. But that's just me. I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, I'm happy with it. I got a little refrigerator. I got, a place to put my computer and everything. And the Army, they had their wall locker and they had like 2 electronic items. I felt bad for them. I'm like, oh man, that sucks.
They raised their right hand and joined that service. Who picked the right ones? These guys.
Yeah. I went to school for videography, and then sometime in 2008, they merged us into broadcasting, and that's kind of what we're doing now. But my first assignment was Ramstein Air Base, Germany. I loved it. I was there for right around 2 years. And then I went to Beale Air Force Base, California, and I worked with the U-2 program there. I filmed training flights. And then I went to Incirlik Air Base, Turkey, and I worked at AFN there, and I got to get acquainted with the AFN side, American Forces Network. Then I came to bright and sunny Fairchild Air Force Base, working here in the Public Affairs Office. My hobbies are long walks on the beach. No, I don't like the beach at all. Actually, I love the snow. That's one of the reasons I liked coming here. The snow is great here. But yeah, I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, so I joined the Air Force in 2003 after being laid off of a nice, cushy civilian job that paid well for not a lot of work that I had to do. I had a wife and a kid, needed a job right away, already had a degree in video production, and decided to join the Air Force. Well, Sergeant Bender, if you had a degree, why didn't you go to officer? Because I want to, what's the old joke? I work, don't call me sir, I work for a living type of thing. I like doing the work, nothing wrong with officers, but I didn't see myself as a manager type. I wanted to get my hands dirty. I liked the video shooting and the video editing. So I went to tech school for that, again at Fort Meade. In fact, Ayres, you and I were there kind of crossing paths. I was on the way out and you were on the way in.
It was, and the funny thing was I saw a picture of him when he was younger, because he's an old man, And I'm like, oh, yeah, I've seen you before. And we even know some of the same people, some still in the Air Force. Most have moved on to do other things.
Yeah, after tech school, first assignment was at Lackland. And then I did something kind of foolish. I volunteered to work at the Pentagon.
What were you thinking?
I know, right? I worked at the Pentagon for about 2.5 years.
Did you get to shoot the president?
Quote unquote, no, I didn't get to shoot the president, but Secretary Rumsfeld and Secretary Gates, I often shot them.
And by shoot, we don't mean shoot with a gun or a rifle. We shoot video, and we have to remember that, because when you're like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing later today? Oh, I'm gonna go shoot the commander. And then people are like, whoa, hey, I want to put you on the ground. It's just a term that we use, and sometimes gets taken the wrong way.
We never would say that around the Pentagon, of course. So, but after the Pentagon, I then volunteered to be an instructor back at Fort Meade as a tech school instructor, teaching the rest of the armed services members how to shoot video and edit that video and become broadcasters themselves. And then after Fort Meade, I came here to Fairchild, working on the SEER side with those bunch of crazy guys. I didn't have to rub sticks or anything like that. But
Did you kill a rabbit?
No, but I did follow them out in the woods and go on a couple of their TDYs and eat some fresh seafood right out of Tillamook Bay in Oregon and stuff like that.
You
So
didn't
that
get to eat
was
a rabbit?
no, I didn't want to eat the rabbit even if they gave it to me. But
I never had a rabbit.
it was a fun assignment. And after about a year and a half there, they decided to PCA me right over here to PA, and so here I am at PA, putting my broadcasting skills to use for probably the very first time, because I came in as a videographer. I never really was thinking I would do news or broadcasting. The merger made broadcasters out of us all, and seeing as how stateside bases don't have radio stations, we're giving to you this podcast. So we're getting to use our skills, and we're keeping you informed and entertained, like we said. So that's us in a nutshell.
I'm in a nutshell, a really big nutshell.
And by nut, I really do mean nut. We're a little crazy, little weird, and I think that's true of everybody in our career field. We're a little bit out in left field.
Well, we are the creative types as much as we can be.
Being our origin episode, this is gonna be a little wonky, a little tricky, but we're gonna kick things off. So, gentlemen, start your engines. Coming up, we're going to be talking about Air Force headlines, this whole under God statement in our re-enlistment and enlistment contracts, yay or nay, what's the big deal sort of thing. We're going to be talking about winter weather coming in Spokane. We should be seeing that pretty soon. October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I think there's a lot of that in the news. And then, finally, a favorite drink for all you kiddies from the 90s is coming back.
And you can only get it in one place, and it's not your grocery store.
And we'll let you know where that is. But first... And now the news, according to us. So...
Dum, dum, dum. So help me God.
So help me God, I will smack the... Oh, that's not in the statement.
I mean, it's on our money, in God we trust. I mean, it should be okay to be in our enlistment oath, you know?
And for some of us who have been in long enough, it's been in the initial enlistment oath as well as the re-enlistment oath. And the person bringing it to the attention was some airman with a capital A in Creech. I think if I heard correctly, he was a tech sergeant. So this guy actually has already been around the horn a few times and has probably already had to have said, so help me God, at the end of his re-enlistment at least once, if not twice before.
Well, it used to be an option. You should say you used to be able to make a decision on whether or not you wanted to do that.
Right, we could say swear or affirm at the beginning, and then apparently at the end when, you know, you've done your oath to the Constitution, to the Commander-in-Chief, all that, you would say, so help me God, as like an exclamation point at the end. I think the Marines say kill at the end. I could be wrong.
Maybe. Anyways, what's your position? What do you think they should do?
I mean, to me, it's been in there for so long, and I'm sure there's been other atheists and Muslims and Wiccans and whomever else, the religious diversity that we have in the Air Force, who have enlisted and re-enlisted and have said those words, and they haven't been struck by a bolt of lightning. I'm not entirely sure what the big deal is. I mean, I get everyone says, oh, you know, freedom of religion, freedom of church and state, but I really don't think that applies here. That's just me.
Well, God, can't it mean whatever you want it to mean? I mean, some people, if say you don't have a religion at all, you're your own God. Couldn't that be a way of looking at it?
So help me.
Sure, why not? I mean, it could mean whatever you want it to mean. You think this guy's being too sensitive? Do you think that he's just blowing this way out of proportion? Or do you think this is a real issue and that it needs to be addressed?
Well, if you're an atheist and you don't believe in God, then why saying those words would have any bearing or effect on your commitment to the Air Force? I'm not sure. I mean, why don't you say, so help me God? Like, don't pronounce the D, just kind of let it out there.
What if it was written as praise Allah?
Well, see, now there's an argument that I do have contention with because we're not a Muslim nation. Now, some would also argue we're not a Christian nation. True, we are a nation whose founding fathers were theists. Some of them didn't exactly necessarily believe in the one God that we have in the Bible per se, but they did believe in a higher power that they called God. So though we may not be a Christian nation, we were built on theist principles, and it is one of those touchy subjects. I don't believe it should be something that really hangs up your career or something like that. I think it's something that we should press on and move forward with.
Well, they're saying that he couldn't even re-enlist because he didn't actually say it the way it was supposed to be said.
Point being is, I think we want freedom of religion, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who want freedom from religion. They don't want religious anything within our nation, which, like you said, on our money, it says in God we trust. So are you telling me this one guy who didn't want to say, so help me God, doesn't like handing out the dollar bill or money like that?
I'd take all his money. He could just make sure I get it. Maybe just use a debit card.
So for all of us wondering, it did actually come out. It was a big stink for about a week, but the Air Force actually came out with an official email this past Thursday, the 18th, saying that it is now something you can omit from your enlistment oath if you so feel, need, or desire.
And I think with our freedoms, I think that's a good thing. I mean, I personally, I'll say it. I mean, I'll swear it. I don't need to affirm. But it's that little bit of choice that makes you an individual. And it's in the military, sometimes we lose that individuality because we are very much a team organization. We're definitely all one team, one fight.
Hey, shut up and color, you.
I mean, it's just the way it is. And when it comes to personal beliefs, and that's one of our pillars of the whole airman concept is to have some sort of belief, not necessarily a religious, like you don't have to be Christian or Muslim or an atheist, but you should believe in something. If it is your inner spirit,
Well, and like you said, I think everyone believes in something. If they're humanists, they believe in their own power, and well, let's substitute their humanistic belief in their own power for those 3 letters of God and move on with it.
And it is our heritage, I mean, we were founded with those principles in mind, but that's what freedom's all about. And sometimes freedom isn't easy for all to choke down and swallow.
So obviously, this very first topic, maybe some of you got a little hot under your ABU collars there and have some choice words to say for yourself. We will be looking for your opinions in the future once we set up a Facebook page and a web page. And now, something completely different. It's getting that time of the year, people.
Christmas?
Pretty darn close.
Oh, we get Halloween first.
Well, yeah, but I've already seen Christmas decorations in the store.
Is it like what is it? The Halloween for Christmas? What's that movie?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, that's the one.
But anyways, you've definitely noticed, although the past week or so, we've had a rare Indian summer, as they would call it. But fall is actually this coming week.
I think he means Native American summer, because Indian is not the proper term.
Yeah, sorry if I offended anybody out there. But that was the colloquial term and reference that we've used for years. But anyways, sure. Big things coming up with Spokane during the winter is snow.
I love snow.
Ayres, you are a snow maniac.
I love the snow. I would prefer it over the sunshine and this really, really hot summer that we just had. It was ridiculous. It doesn't... We all came here thinking... I don't know about you, but I came here thinking, man, there's going to be a lot of snow. Mild summers. When I first got here, there was a mild summer. I got here in July of 2012. And it was great. You could still go fishing and have fun, but you weren't like... sweltering, not like the Texas heat or Arizona or any of these really, really hot states. And hopefully with this hot summer we get a really cold winter, but not as cold as last year, but cold enough to get a good amount of snow. I'm I personally am a snowboarder, so I love the snow. The more the better. I love powder everywhere.
So where's the best place in Spokane for some powder?
And by powder, he does mean snow. Actually, there's only one place in Spokane that only one resort if you're into snowboarding, skiing, snowmobiling, or even snowshoeing, which I've never really wanted to do. But a good place to snowboard is Mount Spokane. Mount Spokane is pretty close. It's not real expensive, and it's a non-profit mountain. So it's I think it's owned by the Forestry Service or something like that. But it's a decent little mountain. It's got a couple of lifts and some pretty good snow. Last year wasn't the best time for snow, but I still had a good time out there riding. I mean, you've got some other resorts that are a little bit further away. You got some in Idaho, some in a little more further north, like 49 degrees north, or if you get into Idaho. There's a lot around here to do for winter sports. And I know Outdoor Rec does a lot of things too, so definitely check them out. And you can rent through them. You can book tickets and passes. You can buy your own tickets from that at a discounted rate. You get that military discount. But yeah, definitely, it's going to snow. Don't stay in your house or your room or your dorm room. Get out there, enjoy the snow. It's really not that cold if you're out there moving.
And now for some people, when you say, oh my gosh, it's going to snow, some people it's their first time being where they're going to see snow, and they're going to be thinking it's up to my eyeballs type of thing. Me, I'm from central New York. That's snow country. Syracuse, New York, we're like the second most snowiest city in the country. And when it snowed here for the first time in Spokane, I was just like, really? What's this? But it's funny. You get like an inch or two on the ground, and Spokane is just like, we've got to stop, it's snowing. I've never seen a city come to a halt over so little snow. And then they wait for it to stop snowing before they even decide to clear it up.
Especially if you live on the South Hill or if you live on a hill of any type, it is not fun to drive on. I mean, it's really not that bad. I mean, I'm from Texas originally, and we just, instead of snow, we get sleet, and the roads freeze, and then everybody stops. And I'd rather drive in the snow than drive on ice. And you do have to watch out for the ice. Sometimes because of the vast temperature changes, the snow will turn to ice. It'll melt and then refreeze, and then you get that dreaded black ice, and it'll definitely put you in a ditch real quick. So you got to take it slow, give yourself plenty of time to stop, and don't follow that guy in front of you where you can, count how many hairs are on the back of his head. That's a bad idea.
And another thing, as the snow begins to fall, the Public Affairs Office will start putting out things on Facebook, letting you know, hey, call the winter weather line if there's adverse weather, so we can tell about reporting conditions.
Last year, the base commander sent us home early on some days when he felt that it would be too dangerous to get home. He wanted to give people a safe ride home, and sometimes you get delayed reporting in the morning because it just gets that bad. So you get 2 hours later. Some of you will get that. Not everyone.
For those of us on base, yeah, just show up like you're supposed to.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, it's 2 hours reporting. You live right across from the med group, or you live within walking distance. They're like, oh, well, I can't take my car there. So do the right thing. Show up when you're supposed to. And I know some of you flight line workers out there definitely don't get that choice. You got to come anyway and just leave even earlier. So give yourself plenty of time in the morning to get to work on time, because the gates may be backed up, and things happen. Definitely watch out for the ice.
But before the snow falls, we're still hanging on with the last few days of September, and then comes October, the fall starting to come. Pumpkin spice lattes are out there at Starbucks. Hoodie weather is upon us. Halloween right around the corner. But October, one thing we do want to mention, it seems like every month there's something that we need to be aware of, some sort of awareness month. And it just so happens that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Big hot topic, especially in the news. It seems the NFL has not gotten this memo. There's been about 3, if not 4 players who have been, Ray Rice suspended indefinitely, and a couple of other players released from rosters and basically kicked off the teams because they can't control their temper and they're smacking their wives around or their kids around. So, definitely, I think with the football players, maybe we should look in the locker room and see what kind of supplements they're taking while they're working out.
They should just live in Washington. I heard weed is legal here now. Even not for military members, of course, but maybe they just need to chill out,
Yeah, you don't see any Seahawks people going off the deep end. I'm not saying we should check the Seahawks locker room, but coincidence? I think not.
And I hear Denver's pretty good, too, with their team. But that's Colorado, it's a whole other can of worms.
But in all seriousness, domestic violence, there's plenty of options out there with mental health. If you've got anger management issues, things to relieve stress in a healthy way, not relieve it by, taking it out on your wife, your girlfriend, your children. But let's not be sexist here. It can go the other way around. Ladies, you can get kind of, crazy too. So don't be taking it out on your boyfriends, your husband, or anything else to that matter either.
You have plenty of options from the chapel to, talk to a chaplain. They don't report to anybody, and they can get you the help you need. There's family advocacy. There's a lot of options out there when you just feel like you've had it and you feel like violence may be the only other result. I mean, it's not the only result. There's all these other groups and organizations that can help you.
I'll admit I've got a short fuse. I've got a bit of a temper, and the easiest thing to do is just walk away. If you feel yourself getting to the edge, sometimes I do. I just walk away because now I'm starting to say things I don't mean to say, and it's not even intelligent things. I literally sound like the Tasmanian devil sometimes when I get really angry. And I just
spit on me.
Spittle on you. Sorry about that. But you just have to walk away. But there are plenty of resources out there. Talk to your supervisor. Talk to your shirt. Like Ayres said, talk to a chaplain. But all this month in October, we're going to be bringing this up. Domestic violence. It's not okay. And now moving on to something that is okay. Random news. On to our final topic. A drink for all you 90s kids. It's
Surge!
Surge is back. Well, when I grew up, I couldn't really have any of these, energy drinks. I could have maybe a Dr. Pepper or a Coke, maybe a Mountain Dew if I was lucky.
If you're a good boy.
But my parents saw Surge. What am I talking about? When this came out, Surge came out in 1996. I was 18. I could make my own choices.
Wow, I definitely was not 18. I'm younger than him. So I believe 96, I don't know, 13. I was 13.
So teenager coming into your own, and you needed the energy.
I did. I loved Surge. Surge was great. It was. I think it was better than Mountain Dew. I drank one and I didn't. Is it bad? I didn't really want to drink another one because I felt like my thirst was quenched and I felt like I had a lot of energy. And there wasn't Red Bull. There wasn't, Monster or
right.
Rockstar, any of those. So it was this or Mountain Dew. And I don't think I started drinking Mountain Dew until I got older, I guess.
So Surge came about as Coca-Cola's answer to Pepsi's Mountain Dew around 1996. And it took off like a rocket, but it didn't stay very long. It fizzled in the early 2000s. And so it's been gone off our radar for about a decade. But I think just last year, the year before, a Facebook movement came about.
Yeah, it was the Surge movement, and I actually joined this. Never thinking this would actually happen. I just thought it was neat. I thought people were holding on, to this piece of their childhood or however old they are. They thought it was really cool, and they hated seeing it leave. And I guess, Coke held on to the recipe, and because of this Facebook movement and enough interest, they decide they're going to bring it back. But you will not be able to buy this in your local grocery store or even in a vending machine as of now.
So I've got to get it from the guy in the corner? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, you're going to have to look for a Surge dealer. You'll know him by the really loud green. No, you don't have to do that.
The bloodshot eyes.
Yes, he's been drinking these things all day. He's all jittery. Don't give him change because he'll just drop it. Basically, you can only get this on Amazon. And I was looking at it. I was like, oh, sweet. They made the cans bigger. I guess to keep up with, Monster in them. Or at least they're giving a test run to see who really wants these things. They're 16-ounce cans. I remember getting it in 12-ounce cans. But, you can't have too much of a good thing, right?
So they'll start on Amazon, and I'm wondering if on Amazon they're going to have that check box if you're 18 or older. So, kids these days aren't going, ooh, another energy drink, another excuse.
I don't think you can order anything off Amazon without being 18 or older, can you?
That's probably a good question.
I don't know. I've only been buying stuff off Amazon since I was 18 or older.
I don't know. I look at my checking account, and everything I see for Amazon is usually going to my wife's Kindle, so.
Well, it is what it is, right?
So, have you gotten any notification as to when this first shipment is coming to your house? Do you know? Have you ordered any yet?
I have not ordered any yet, because I don't think it's available yet. I'd have to get back on Amazon. and see when they're able to ship out. I think I will buy some for nostalgia's sake. I have a feeling that it's going to be really, really sweet, sugary. I really don't drink sugary sodas anymore, but I think just for the, that nostalgia, that being a kid again, I think I will definitely buy some.
I tell you, we're going to have another episode of The Boom and just be on surge the whole time, and they're probably going to have to play it all back in slow motion because I don't know what they're saying.
It'd be like, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember the Micro Machine guy who went really, really fast. That guy was pretty entertaining. If not, YouTube is your friend. Micro Machine guy. That guy was fast. That guy definitely had some talent.
And speaking of fast, we're actually coming to the end of the very first edition, the origin edition of the Boom Podcast. So, hey, if you're listening out there, tell your friends, tell your wife, tell your kids.
Tell anybody that you like. And even if you don't like them, tell them anyway.
We're trying to keep this entertaining and informative at the same time. Hopefully you learned a little something about us, about the area, and hopefully we made you laugh because that's what we're kind of here to do.
Yeah, we're here to have fun, and we want to definitely get all this cool information out to you guys in a non-PowerPoint kind of way. That we're used to commander's call, okay, sit in a chair and listen. And you get that Charlie Brown's teacher kind of thing going, and you're just like, why do I care? Well, we give you a voice too. We want to hear what you guys have to say, or what do you think? Do you think we're totally off base? Do you think we're right on point? We'll definitely make a section of our podcast dedicated to listener responses. Keep it clean, folks, because if you curse me out via email, it's definitely not going to make it on the air, or it may make it on the air in a censored way. But stay away. Don't do that.
So yeah, this is the weekly podcast that we're going to be putting out every Friday. So look forward to that. And hey, for you first-time listeners, we hope we've made loyal listeners out of you all. So until next time, Team Fairchild, I'm Tech Sergeant Brian Bender.
And I'm Staff Sergeant D.J. Ayres.
Keep it classy.
With the Boom Podcast.